Hello, my whiskey lovers. Welcome to another episode of what has got to be your favorite show at this point, Chief's Whiskey Tasting. This week we're going to be doing something rather exciting, which is we're coming back home to America, and we'll be looking at some bourbon, some American bourbon. People try to make differences between what a bourbon is and what a whiskey is. To me, they are the same thing, understanding though that bourbon must be 51% corn at least, whereas a whiskey is mainly made from malted barley. Anyway, today I have two bourbons to taste. These bourbons can really highly recommend it. As you all are aware, I'm not really a bourbon drinker, so I'm just as excited to try this as you guys are. So the first one is the Elijah Craig. It's a small batch. Yep, it's Elijah Craig small batch, 94% proof. And the second one, which I'm more excited about, is the Redwood Empire. Sorry. So the Redwood is supposed to have been this family-owned distillery out of California. They used to distill wine, and they were purported to be really good. So let's see what happens. So immediately, from a smell perspective, one of the reasons that I'm not much of a whiskey, a bourbon or an American whiskey drinker or lover, it's simply because the whiskeys here really do not have a lot of character to them. So this whiskey is supposed to have been aged for 4 years in whatever oak barrel it was aged in, and according to American whiskey brewers, when American whiskey is aged much less, simply because there's a 1-2-3 relationship between an American whiskey and a Scotch or whiskey from Ireland or Japan or somewhere else, some other part of the world, simply because of the climate. And so the regions like Tennessee or California, where these whiskeys are brewed, are much more hot, temperate, hotter climates, and they give you a 1-2-3 relationship. So this is supposed to have been aged for 4 years. And that should supposed to be equivalent to a 12-year whiskey. So let's see, but I'm still not getting that character. I'm still not getting that character that I expect from my whiskeys. It smells really subtle though, a hint of sweetness here and there. All right, let's get to the tasting and stuff while we're talking. Wow, this is nice. I think I'm going to have to eat my words about American whiskeys at this point, because this is really nice. If someone had poured me a glass of this and told me it was American, I would not believe it. Really sweet. I'm almost guessing the bean that this family used to make wine, that this whiskey was actually aged at some point in some of the wine barrels, because there are hints of sweetness here and there, sweet notes, fruity notes that I'm tasting. This is really good whiskey. The finish is pretty nice. This lingering effect of the alcohol, so you actually do feel the alcohol go down your chest. And as you guys are all aware, I'm always trying to tell you whether the whiskey is some type of whiskey that you can give to someone who's a new whiskey drinker. This could potentially be it. Just note that it's not the smoothest one. So it does have a burn. It does. You actually feel it going down my throat as it makes its way through my mouth all the way down to my stomach. I feel it. But from a smooth perspective, from a smoothness perspective, it's rather smooth. The finish is not the best, but it's a pretty smooth whiskey. What I do like about it, above everything else, is the flavors, the character. Initially, I said American whiskeys lack character, and the smell lacked character. This happens to be one of those whiskeys where the smell was actually 100% deceiving. It's got a lot of character in it. It's got notes of sweetness here and there. There is, I didn't find that woody, that whiskey feel, that charred wood feel. I don't taste that in this whiskey. It's a lot of sweet notes in here. That's amazing. Oh, hold that back. How you call it? I do actually taste the charred notes, the woody notes. It's actually in the back. So the first the sweet notes, then the backwash of the charred woody notes, and then it finishes with that feeling of the alcohol running down your throat and all the way down to your stomach. Okay, so next one here is the Elijah Craig. This bottle came really highly recommended, and I'm excited to see what it tastes like. This is supposed to be bourbon, actually, bourbon whiskey, and so it must have at least 51% corn in it. Again, same like the Redwood Empire. Not a lot of character from a smell perspective. It just smells like alcohol. I don't get any distinct smells emanating from this bottle. And like I said, that's characteristic of American whiskey. Unless of course you go buy something that's rather on the sweet side, those flavored ones. But if it's really whiskey or bourbon made in America, they tend to not be characteristically from a small perspective, at least in my experience. Let's get to the taste. This is a whiskey drinker's whiskey. I'm sorry it took me so long, because there's so much flavor, there's so much character in this whiskey. I'm at loss for words. I really couldn't tell what I'm tasting. There's notes of sweetness here and there, but beyond that, there's that bold oak taste emanating from this whiskey, and at the same time, like I said, there's the sweetness in there. It's just a nice, blend of different flavors going on in this whiskey. I am very surprised, and rightfully so. These whiskeys are really good whiskeys. Now, as you all are aware, I always grade my whiskeys. I know a lot of you guys out there are not really whiskey drinkers, and you're trying to get into it. So I try to grade these whiskeys on a scale of how easy it is for you to drink. And with that in mind, I would say both these whiskeys are not going to be the easiest to drink if you're trying to get into whiskeys. However, if you are a seasoned whiskey drinker, or if you drink like cognac back in the past, like if you used to like drinking some cognacs, like Remy Martin or Hennessy, then this would be a step up from those, in that they are much smoother whiskeys. There's a lot of flavor, there's a lot of character in them. There's not just, drinking Hennessy is almost like drinking rubbing alcohol, whereas these are, there's a lot more character to them, there's a lot more flavor to them. They come highly recommended. I think that does it for this week. Like I said, I'll keep doing my best to give you a video every week, and as the holiday season comes closer and closer, I want to give you as much ideas as possible of gift ideas for that special one, special person in your lives from a whiskey perspective. So see you again next week, and thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube now. Like I said last week, we're on YouTube now, and of course you can find me on my Instagram channel, Chief Ellie. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.